I read in your book that you came here for the first screening of Cabaret.
That's true. Before anybody saw it.
Before anybody, yeah. And you were very nervous about that first screening.
Well, everybody was.
But you were nervous because the first cut you had seen, they practically cut you out of it.
That's true. That was true. I think Bob Fosse, as great a filmmaker as he is and was, wanted to no longer do musicals. So I think he was hopefully going to tell this story, which was so dark, with very much less musical numbers, so that the drama would be the centerpiece. And he did a cut, which is like the first time they put together the movie. And we were invited to see it, and there were beginnings and ends of numbers, and they were all chopped up. Nothing ever finished. Nothing ever got applause because there was no endings. But he thought he would just use it as like little, moments to give it a little musical something. And I was pretty upset. And I called the producer. He said, "Don't worry, I saw it last night." He says, "It'll never be seen like that."
And it never was again.
And it never was again.
But you and Fosse had a very complicated relationship. I read in the book, he didn't want you originally. Would you like to tell them who you heard he wanted to cast as the MC?
Kevin Sessums.
And I turned it down. I am that old. Yeah. I turned it down. No, it was Ruth Gordon.
Yeah, she was rumored.
Right.
And Anthony Newley was rumored.
Mm-hmm.
My secret suspicion was that he was hoping that it would be impossible to find someone and that he would end up doing it.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
He was a great performer.
Right.
And he also came up through burlesque. So he had a very dark background. And I suspect that he really thought he could do that.
That's interesting.
And let me tell you about when he started to work with me, because it was 6 weeks before Munich, and he came in to an office full of producers and all the money people, and he said to everybody, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment of truth. It's either Joel Grey or me." And Marty Baum, who was the producer, said, "Then it's Joel Grey."
Wow.
I don't think that's ever happened before. Because in Hollywood, the director is king.
Right. Or queen.
Cheap.
That's a cheap laugh. I know.
That
It's a
was
cheap
cheap.
laugh. It's vaudeville.
All right.
We're like an old vaudeville team.
Anyway, so he was stuck with me, and I was stuck with him.
Right.
And I think that the tension between us added to the film.
You were the only original cast member in.
He wanted nothing to do with what was on the stage. And
Well,
that's kind of fair.
Right.
But the very first day I got to Munich, he was rehearsing two ladies with his assistants. And he said to John Sharp, he said, "Come over here for a minute. Joel, have you ever done a backflip?" "No. But show me, and maybe I can." He said, "Johnny, come here. Stand back here." And he proceeded to jump and do a backflip and missed and fell right on his face and laid there for, I think, what seemed like an eternity, maybe 5 minutes. And the nurses and the doctors came and they took him off. And we were starting shooting, rehearsal the next day. And we all thought, well, this could be the end of the beginning. And the next day I saw him at the rehearsal with this in black half of a face
Wow.
and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. His famous cigarette.
Right.
And it was never, ever discussed.
Were you secretly a little like pleased that
No,
it
I
happened?
wasn't.
No, okay. I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of
yeah,
tension.
you probably know.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of tension between the.
But not
between the
that.
two. Okay.
I mean, he was an artist.
Right. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, yes. I mean, he got a performance out of it. He didn't like improvisation. He didn't like. He liked things set, right? I mean,
Yeah,
really
and
does.
everything to counts.
Right.
And,
And you bucked
I,
against
I
that.
felt that was wrong for the piece.
Right.
And I had as much an investment
Right.
in that movie
Mm-hmm.
as he did.
Right. Mm-hmm.